Ladies and gentlemen, for many days I went around this country asking you to elect my party into government. Today, I address you with a deep sense of gratitude and humility to accept the baton as the 10th Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Lesotho. For me, this address represents a social contract in which I promise to make Lesotho great again. My remarks this morning form the basis for holding accountable the government of Lesotho under my leadership. This follows the authority to govern bestowed upon me by the people of this kingdom on the 7th of October 2022, when they voted in large numbers for my party, the RFP, Revolution for Prosperity. The people have spoken. However, I must hasten to say, I am fully aware of the profound nature and deep seriousness of this responsibility, and I don't take it lightly. But then, I thank the Almighty God, for I know that His grace is sufficient for me, and that His power and blessings will multiply in my weakness. I shall not fear, for He will always hold my hand and give me all the guidance I need. Setjhaba sa heso, ke eme mona ka pela lona kajeno o amohela thomo ya lona. Eo le ileng la mpha yona ka menwana ya lona ka la 7 kgweding ena e hodimo. Ke ne ke ile ka qala ka letsholo la mamela setjhaba, mo ke neng ke pota naha ena ya rona go mamela mathata le maikutlo a lona. Ke ne ke re ho lona, bua morena, mohlanga wa hao o mametse. Ga ke re ke ona mantswe a neng a bui ke Samuel ao. Ha ke se ke le mametse mme ke le utlwile, ya ba ke boetse ke pota hape ka molaetsa o motjha o reng ntate Rumanna ho ya pholosa setjhaba sa hao. Kajeno ha ke eme mona ka pela lona, ke bina sefela se setjha ke re, ibe Jesu wa ka o na mponi jwang na. Mme ruri nkeke ka tshoha bobe le ha bo le bong hobane o na le nna. Ruo Ruo umnotho. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, recent research shows that Lesotho macroeconomic position has been deteriorating since 2015. Our economy has been in recession since 2017. Lesotho public spending has increased over the last few years and has reached 65% of GDP in this financial year. Today, 86% of Lesotho's national budget is absorbed by government consumption, particularly public wages that are estimated at 32% of our GDP. Public procurement, which is roughly 35% of our GDP, is key in determining the effectiveness of government in delivering essential services, programs, and projects. But it is arguably the worst managed. Government income depends quite heavily on revenues from the Southern African Customs Union, SACU, which are declining. In 2022-23, they are expected to decline by the 22% of GDP. Our economy is driven by government spending, which itself depends on debt-financed public investment. The inability of the private sector to play its part in creating employment has led to a situation in which the public sector has become a critical source of employment for our people. Yet, as indicated above, the public sector itself does not have a dependable income, a situation which is likely to get worse going forward. Sadly, even the high spending in the public sector has not translated into satisfactory performance and high productivity. Ours is, all in all, a very unsustainable model of economic growth. Additionally, the manner in which we spend the little resources that we have also leaves a lot to be desired. Our capital budget is a tiny 27% of the total budget, compared to the whopping 73% in the recurrent budget. In real numbers, Lesotho spends only 6.7 billion a year on its development agenda and 18 billion on consumption, largely wages. This is not a good investment model. It would be remiss of me if I did not mention the importance of climate change and the risk which it poses for Lesotho economic growth efforts. Lesotho is highly exposed to climate change hazard, including droughts, floods, storms, strong winds, heavy snowfall, and severe frost. Floods from extreme rainfall in Lesotho occur relatively frequently, and they adversely impact the population, economic activity, and the environment. Existing climate hazard pose substantial risk to water infrastructure and service delivery. Climate change will further stress our water reserves, which, as you know, is one of Lesotho's most valuable resources, contributing no less than 8 to 10% to our GDP. Predictably, this will destabilize farming system, decrease agricultural productivity, and raise the level of food insecurity for thousands of our people who rely on survival on subsistence farming. The quality and quantity of water generated in Lesotho's wetlands will decline over time, ultimately impacting the volume of water Lesotho has for domestic consumption and for export. Land degradation, soil erosion, and bad land management practices can only worsen this situation. Another challenge we have had over the years is that Lesotho has failed to tap and realize the potential economic returns on the existing positive investment environment. The government of Lesotho maintains a strong commitment to private investment and is generally open to foreign direct investment. The government of Lesotho welcomes foreign direct investment that create jobs and open new markets and industries in accordance with the national objective of diversifying Lesotho's industrial base. 2, improve skills and productivity of the workforce and nurtures local business suppliers and partners. 3, support knowledge and technology transfer and diffusion. 4, improve the quality and accessibility of infrastructure. The following are potential investment sectors in Lesotho. Renewable energy, which includes hydropower, wind energy, and solar energy. Agro-industry, which includes cross farming, aquaculture, livestock, and horticulture. 3, manufacturing, which includes textile and garment industry, leather and footwear, consumer electrical and electronic appliances, packaging material and accessories, and automotive components. 4, infrastructure and construction, which includes opportunities in the development of commercial and industrial property development, opportunities in information and communication technology, particularly the development of a shared broadband infrastructure company to support the information and communication technology services industry and opportunities in the Lesotho Highlands Water Project. 5, mining, which includes diamond mining and sandstone quarrying and water bottling. Tourism, which includes accommodation facilities, health and wellness resorts, water and sports recreation, and high altitude training facilities. I call on our investors and friends to visit, explore, and invest in this beautiful country. It is against this backdrop that your new government is assuming the responsibility to preside over the affairs of Lesotho's public service, to deliver public goods and services, and to enable the realization of the fundamental human rights of every Lesotho. Your government is, on the one hand, facing critical challenges of addressing inclusive growth and providing access to quality services for all, while at the same time operating in a difficult economic situation and highly fragile climate conditions on the other. Your new government is confronted with the critical challenge of having to move Lesotho from a growth model that depends almost entirely on the public sector to one that is driven by a strong and competitive private sector that is export-oriented. As Lesotho pursues this new growth model, the importance of expediting ongoing national reforms cannot be overemphasized. Lesotho's journey towards peace, political stability, and tolerance has improved over the years following the resolution of the South African Development Community, SADC. Double Troika Summit held on 24th April 2018 in Luanda, Angola. I thank you. Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, and your right-hand man, the leader of the mediation team, retired Deputy Chief Dikgang Moseneke, for your commendable efforts in leading and guiding our national dialogue and reform agenda. I promise to expedite the successful completion of the national agenda, a journey towards the Lesotho we want. Your Majesty, your new government has to fix the imbalances mentioned earlier and achieve macroeconomic stability. It has to reform the public service to make it more efficient, transparent, accountable, and effective. We have to uproot corruption and stop the rampant embezzlement of public funds. These things will have to be done in accordance in order to restore the hope of our people and to solicit their buy-in as we prepare to launch our country on new horizons and more ambitious levels of development. I promise that I will spearhead the process to right our country's historical wrongs and make Lesotho great again. We are equal to this task, and we will not be found wanting. It would be naive of me if I were to imagine that the road ahead will be smooth. Certainly not. But change is a binding imperative in our present situation. The absence of a rigorous system of monitoring and evaluation can easily foster a culture of impunity in which there are no consequences for poor performance and wrongdoing. The new government will increase our accountability in the public sector by creating a system in which performance expected of all public officers will be transparently stated and reported upon. And there will be social engagement around what performance has been achieved and what services have actually been delivered. Under my leadership, Your Majesty, your government will pursue the following key strategic goals as already outlined in the second National Strategic Development Plan. 1. Enhance inclusive and sustainable economic growth and private sector job creation. 2. Strengthen the human capital. 3. Build an enabling infrastructure. 4. Strengthen national governance and accountability system for improved service delivery. 5. Strengthen climate risk management, resilience, and adaptation. And 6. Strengthen public financial management. Our ability to achieve these 6 strategic goals will be largely depend on the actions which government will take in the first 100 days of its tenure. I therefore take this opportunity, Government Secretary, to turn to you and to publicly instruct you that over and above our duties as spelled out in Section 12 of the Public Service Act of 2005 and Section 97 of the Constitution, and while you will work with and through all the relevant government and non-governmental offices, you should roll out the following 20 points program in the first 100 days of our tenure. Prepare my performance contract and those of honorable ministers, ensure that they are signed in 30 days. Then make those contracts public. 2, prepare and sign performance contracts with principal secretaries in 30 days. And make those contracts public. 3, develop tools and a standardized system of performance reporting and reflection for the whole of government, including district administrators and local authorities in the first 100 days. 4, develop a system through which citizens can monitor and report on the performance of the public sector and through which their inputs can be recorded and responded to in the first 100 days. 5, use appropriate public service legislation and policies and deploy relevant public officials to the authority of district administrators and district, urban and community councils in 100 days, and make sure that district administrators and councils are accountable for the government's program of action and service delivery in their respective district. Develop and implement a plan to cut unnecessary government spending on fleet management and fuel consumption in the first 100 days. 7, develop a plan of how government should capacitate the institution of chieftainship for improved service delivery, accountability, and good governance. Targeting chiefs who serve their communities on a daily basis for 24 hours. 8, in 100 days, take stock of all government vehicles, rationalize them, and provide each local authority in Lesotho with at least one vehicle to enable them to conduct business of government. 9, in 30 days, provide a report on budget monitoring for all ongoing capital projects. The report should clearly state what projects should be closed down, which should continue, and which should be redesigned for maximum impact. 10, develop a plan for improving aid and donor coordination and organize a meeting for my office with all partners and donors in 10 days. Pay outstanding allowance for all village health workers in 100 days. Develop a reporting plan for all state-owned enterprises in 30 days and make the reporting plan public. 13, organize a meeting between my office and all district administrators and council chairperson in 10 days. 14, organize a meeting between my office and all media institutions in Lesotho and civil society organizations in 15 days. Take action on the 6.1 billion indicated in the Auditor's General queries and make the action public in 15 days. Develop, public, and implement a crime control program in the first 15 days. Establish and publicize a corruption, theft, and embezzlement amnesty program in 30 days. In 30 days, prepare a report on all companies in which government has shares, explaining which companies are paying their due dividends and which are not. In 30 days, prepare a list of all people who are owed money by government and make recommendations accordingly. 20. In 60 days, identify all areas of public financial wastage and make your recommendations accordingly. Setjhaba sa heso ha ntse ke pota naha ena ke iketa ho lona, ke ile ka le bolella hore rona kwana kgwebong mo re tswang teng re phela fela ka bophethahatsi. Ha ke etsa tjena e se le ha ke qadile. Ke dumela ka tiyo hore ofisi ya mongodi e moholo wa mmuso e tla nthusa ka ditaba tsena tseo ke di kopileng, e le hore ke tle ke tsebe ho tla boela ke hlaha ka pela lona le ho le hlalosetsa hore na re se re le hakae phethahatsong ya ditshepiso tsa rona ho lona. Ke ipiletsa ka matla ho lona bahlanka ba setjhaba hore le mpe le thuse mongodi e moholo wa mmuso hore a thete tshebetso ena e tswe nnete e le lona matsoho ao a sebetsang ka ona makaleng ka ho fapana. Ke ipiletsa le ho lona setjhaba sa heso hore moo le kutlwang ho etsa tlatsetso le etse jwalo, e le hore thusa ho phethahatsa mosebetsi. E tswe dintho tsena di reretswe ho ntlafatsa bophelo ba lona le ba bana ba lona. Ke ipiletsa ho lona Basotho ba sebetsang le ho dula dinaheng tse ding hore shebang hantle beng baka le bone menyetla eo le ka e fumanang ya ho kgutlela hae, le tlo re thusa ka ditsebo tsa lona. Ho ntlafatsa naha ena ya habo rona. Motlotei Moshweshwe wa bobedi o ne a yare mpempe ya lapisa molekane, motho o kgonwa ke sa ntlo ya hae. Kgomo e wetse tlohong re tlo bona na re kopanya matsoho jwang ho inyolla. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, over the years our country has benefited generously from our development partners who have always been willing to part with the little that they had to assist us in our development effort. We are truly thankful, and we request you not to lose heart, seeing that some of you have been with us for many years without realizing the achievements that you expected. We are getting there. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And in this connection, please allow me to acknowledge with sincere appreciation the presence in this ceremony of the presidential delegation from the United States, led by the MCC Chief Executive Officer, Her Excellency Ms. Alice Albright. We view the presence of this delegation here as a recognition by the US government of the smooth transfer of political power here in Lesotho. It remains